Hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? Oh, prototype, perfect timing. Human and Zombies, aka Holodeck, how you doing? Joe, what's up? At 8 people starting off tonight. Who all is here? Everyone is having a great night. Um, yeah, let's get started. A lot to talk about tonight. Got a lot of notes to read over. I want to talk about a lot of things, guys. Who else we got in chat tonight? Who else we got here? Um, and as always, for those of you that are new, please feel free to throw in your you want me, any questions you may have. I'm going to be hitting those up probably towards the end of the stream tonight. Got a lot to go through. Any breaks in between, I'll try and squeeze it in. But if I miss anything, please circle back. All right. So I want to start off tonight with some news. Some pretty exciting news. Over the past like 24 hours, Zed Run has absolutely blown up um, and just been all over the place. CNBC, they've got funding. This video was just posted. Um, Basically just hyping up Zed, how NFT space has changed, and now you have digital horse racing. There's a 20 million Series A funding round that they just got. In this video here, just kind of is a highlight kind of hype reel for Zed Run. I'll throw it in chat if you haven't seen it. It's pretty cool. Crowell, how you doing? Crowell, how you doing? I think I got that right that second time. Um, so yeah, wanted to throw that out. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty cool. I don't know, it just got me excited. I'm a big Barstool fan, and Big Cat was featured in there. I don't know how involved he actually is with this, but I thought it was pretty cool. Um, so wanted to start off with that, and then kind of change gears a little bit tonight. I'm going to take the headset off for a minute and mute myself. But some just kind of exciting announcement for me personally. As you know that I did see the picture of Mark Cuban. That was hilarious. Those of you that watch stream know I almost always wear my hoodie. I love this hoodie, my gray hoodie. But tonight we're gonna mix it up, do something a little different. So bear with me for 1 second here. Tonight I'm sporting a brand new shirt from Retro Racing. Pretty comfortable. Got to break it in a little bit. But so excited they were able to offer to hook me up with the shirt. Really, really appreciate it. For those of you that don't know who Retro Racing is or what they do, I got the shirt from Boots. He loves to call actual races, and has even started streaming calling races. He's got a great voice for it, great enthusiasm for it, a lot of fun to watch. So please, please, please give them a follow. This is not an ad. They didn't pay me to do any of this. I'm doing this out of my own free will. Yes, they did give me the shirt, but this is just completely me on my own. And if you're interested in the shirt or other swag, it can be found here. They do have another line called Donkey Glue, which is pretty funny. They've got these just pretty funny little icon logo. Yeah, definitely check it out. Retro Racing does a great job calling races. Um, and yeah, it's very. Sorry, technical difficulties. Very, very entertaining, very fun to watch. Definitely give them a follow. Hooking back to chat. Yeah, the half horse, half man with Mark Cuban's head was hilarious. MJ, mainstream attention is great for everyone. Absolutely, Larkhall. Absolutely. Thanks for the comment on the retro racing merch. Mr. Marr, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, so now just kind of want to get to the main kind of event, get right into tonight and everything I wanted to talk about and feature. And we're going to be starting with ZEDalytics. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that are new, this is my website, mjinformatics.com. For those of you that maybe want to follow along, here's the link to ZEDalytics. It is a completely free analytics tool that I use in evaluating horses in horse races and race selection. When I first started streaming and started getting into Zed, I built out a dashboard in Google Data Studio. Was able to transfer that over into something that was a little more streamlined and had a much larger data set. I was manually putting everything in by hand. Was not very good for just kind of timings of things. Human zombies. Wow, thank you for the tip. Really, really appreciate it. That's extremely generous. Really, really appreciate it, Hollow. Thank you, thank you. Means a lot. Absolutely means a lot. Um, Golden, I am live really early tonight. Just some different schedules. I've got some things going on in real life. I'm in between changing some jobs up. So schedule will be a little off. We'll be resuming to normal kind of schedule later. But Humans and Zombies, aka Holodeck, thank you so much. For those of you that don't know, and if you want, please feel free to plug your stable if you'd be interested, Humans and Zombies. Doing a lot of really cool things with color and rare colors and super rare colors within the game. And just has like almost just like a rainbow of rares and super rares, and it's beautiful. And also, if you're a Star Wars fan, has some really cool Star Wars names. I believe Darth Vader is even one of them. Darth Side Stables, Darth Side Super Colors. Definitely check it out. We'll throw out. I think this might be it. Is this it, Darth Vader? What's the name of one of your horses, Humans and Zombies? Okay, this is it. And if we check that out, yeah, here we go. So here's a link to the stable for those of you that want to check it out. Lots of great colors in there. Some super coats. There's a Suave Mauve super coat in here. There's a Slate Gray super coat, Darth Vader, which is amazing. Another Slate Gray super coat, Gray Jedi. I love that name. Fellow Star Wars fans know what a Gray Jedi is. Whoo! If you don't, that's okay. That's for another time. But very cool, very cool stable. Lots of great colors. Definitely check it out. I don't know if anything's for sale yet or anything's for breed yet, but if you're looking for colors, you're looking for super coats, this is the place to go. Again, thank you so much, Human Zombies, aka Holodeck, aka Darthside Stables and Darthside Super Colors. Greatly appreciate the tip. Means a lot. Gutters, how you doing? What's up? So kind of going back to my tool, free tool. Hey, Sean, how you doing? I kind of worked in Data Studio. I did a lot of manual entry. I wanted to automate it, and I wanted to make it available for everyone. So I created this ZEDalytics tool, and I released it a few days ago now. But I really want to kind of do a deeper dive tonight in how it can be used, some different kind of use cases, and how I use it, and then going into kind of transitioning and how I use that for my race selection going forward. Golden, thanks for the horns in chat. And shout out Sean, love it. For those of you that don't know, before we dig a little deeper, starting on Monday, Sean and I will be starting a new series called Zero to Hero on my channel, where we basically take a horse with not many races that we see some potential in, and we try and make the most out of that horse. You're going to see some of that tonight with some of my own horses, but it's going to be, each season will be 10 weeks, 10 episodes, and you'll get full updates, good, bad, and the ugly, on how things go with this horse. Super excited. So yeah, Monday nights, I believe 10 p.m. Central, so definitely check it out. Crypto Bloke, good day to you too. Thank you. Glad you're loving it. Yeah, been really busy in real life, but life outside of Zed. This is real life too, but life outside of Zed. So thank you. Uh-oh, Sean with a little teaser there. Maybe a horse giveaway on Monday. Stay tuned. Super exciting. So, thank you, Crypto. Very busy. So when you go to the site, this is kind of how things are going to load up. And what you're looking at here is all, we just got a little refresh. All races up until, and the updated date will be here. So July 20th, it's really small, but it's on the bottom of the thread. We'll say July 20th, 2021. You could see there's 162,000 races in this data set. Um, so it's definitely a pretty good sample size. And it's not totally up to date, so it'll be about a day to maybe 2 days off leg. So if you got a new full, or you just ran a handful of races, you don't see them updated, that is why. I'm going to work on getting it more automated in the future. It's on my roadmap of things to do. We're not quite there yet, and then there's some other things I want to put some focus on first before we get there. Um, so when it first loads up, this is kind of where the utility starts in my mind. Um, because you can see first like the average odds for each distance across all of time, and kind of use it as like a benchmark for your horse, your horses, your stable. You can also look at the average speed of the horses here compared to your horses. So overall, we're looking at about 60 kilometers an hour. Know Your Horses does it in just finish time. I like it in speed. They're different. It's no one is better or worse than the other. Just different. You can see the average standard deviation is just over 1.17. So I like to flip this to paid, and I like to do most of my analysis in paid. Free can just be all over the place. This is just kind of a more accurate, more concise sample size. So on top of this, you can also kind of dig into the classes, and we'll zoom in. Yeah, this will work. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, for example, if I wanted to compare, class 1 versus class 5, so I have class 1 selected now, just takes a second to update. You can see the races have changed. There's only been 8,000 races in class 1, so much smaller than the overall sample size. But you're going to see average odds have dropped significantly to 13.93. And the kilometers per hour has actually gone up to 60.54, and the standard deviation has gone up to 1.22. You want to compare that to class 5 as an example. That 13.93 jumps to 14.86 and 60.32 and 1.15. So at its whole, without even looking at your own horses, your own stable, I think it could be a useful kind of benchmarking tool. What is the current state of Zed? As breeding continues to move on, move forward, and further develop, these numbers are going to change and it's going to evolve. And I want the tool to evolve as well. So I look for extra features to be added in here as well. So I think this is kind of a really big kind of like first starter use case. It's like, what is the state of the Zed racing ecosystem, and what does that look like? So then kind of the next obvious use case for this is looking at actual horses in your stable, or potentially horses you're looking to buy. So 2 horses I want to highlight in my stable. I'm going to keep this on paid. I'm going to go back to all classes. Would be the Red Dragon to start. So I type in the name. You hit enter, and it'll pop up. So if you just want to type in like red, you hit enter, you're going to see all of the horses that have some form of answered red, all assured red, Alfredo red, the word red in them. Lots of bored apes. So I'm going to type in the Red Dragon, hit enter. I see that's my horse. I click the checkbox, and then it's going to auto update for my horse. Wonky Donkey, happy Thursday. So now that I have my horse here, I'm on paid. I'm going to first start on the far right column. And this is my preferred distance column. Thank you for the follow, TRV91TTV. Really appreciate it. So I've put in my horse. I'm on paid. I'm going to start over on the right side. Anyone else having trouble hearing? Just want to do a quick mic check. Loud and clear. Okay. Golden may be having a mobile issue, possibly. Audio is clear. Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Crypto. Appreciate it. So I've put my horse in. I'm now going to go on the Far right, and this is my preferred distance calculation. This is something I've done on my own. Basically, it looks at things like your position, your where you finish, the time it took you to finish, your speed, just kind of like mashes this all together in a way that I think is effective and makes sense. Um, Something that could change eventually over time, but right now, given the current state and ecosystem of how racing is, I think it factors in factors that are really important to success in racing. That being said, it is not clear cut and not 100% like definitive. The one thing I will say about Zed is that it is gray. It is never black and white completely. Um, so definitely I start on the right, and what I'm looking for is a higher number is better, and it should auto sort to your preferred distance on top. So if you want to go from far to the right all the way to far to the left, you're going to see 2016, 18 sorted by preferred distance. And if you notice though, the numbers kind of trail off, and I don't have many races at these distances, so it hasn't like fully fleshed out by this point. Zed Runner says, "Are you having a Chet Griffey tonight?" And not tonight, but if people have a Griffey want to link it, I'd be more than happy to show it. I do not have one personally. Um, so I see right now 2000 is higher, and I'm looking for a drop off here. So I've got 2.07, 1.34. Okay, like there's some difference, and then oh man, we go to 0.01. So I'm going to focus on these two to start. So I start on the right, and I'm going to go back over. So let's take a look at place. Like okay, I'm decent amount of races comparatively. It's not a lot of races overall. Average place is pretty solid. Average odds are pretty solid, especially compared to my averages below. So I'm kind of comparing this. Like, does this seem to make sense? Yep. Oh, I'm actually positive in my earnings here. So that's a huge plus. I've got a win rate and finishing in the top 3 at 45%. So like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. I'm a little slow in my average, but that's okay because as I talked in my last stream, an average speed isn't a like do or die. It's very gray, just like I talked about. You can have an average speed but a high standard deviation, or you can have a slightly faster speed with a lower standard deviation. Both can be positive. My standard deviation isn't great, but I also don't have a lot of races, so I'm not terribly concerned with that quite yet. So I see a lot of potential in 2000 for the Red Dragon. I see some in 1600. And then just kind of going down, because I don't have many races, I'm going to again just kind of go across here and try and find is there any opportunity anywhere. And in looking down at this, I see 2400 is being something with potential. I finished 4th, which is the worst spot in the whole game, in my opinion. But average odds weren't too bad. It's only one race. Speed is a little slow, but again, it's only one race, so maybe I would maybe take a chance on a 24. Because it is so early on. My odds aren't bad. Speed is about on average. Let's see where this could go. So like my preferred distances would be 20, 16, and 24. I'm going to do kind of another example, another walkthrough with a different horse of mine called Blue Wings. So I just hit the little X next to the name, clears the filter. It goes back to all paid races. I'm going to type in my horse name, hit enter. Sounds good, humans and zombies. I will definitely hit you up. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. For those of you that are new, please feel free to in chat send horses. If I'm in the middle of explaining something, I may not get to it right that second, but I would definitely do my best to loop back. And if I've missed it, please feel free to hit it up in chat again. Anything I say here in the top right corner of the stream, nothing is financial advice for entertainment purposes only, but I would love to give my opinion, especially try and help out in any way if possible. Thank you. I will definitely circle back to that horse. We'll get through a segment or two, and I will definitely take a look at that. So Blue Wings. I've got the horse selected. Again, in not many races, it's a newer horse. And I can see my preferred distance. The numbers are lower, but again, I'm looking for drop off. So we got 0.41, Okay, that's probably my preferred, 0.2. Okay, and then we have drop off, but again, not many races. Excuse me. Um, so I started on the right. I see this. It's sorted by preferred distance. Now I'm going to go across. So 5 races. Average position is just under fourth, which is awesome. Average odds aren't bad. Positive on the earnings. 20% win rate. Okay, that's 1 out of 5. Not too far off from my average speed. Standard deviation. Still very early to tell, but this is where I see potential. And then 1800, I see. Okay, it has very low average odds across 3 paid races. Um, and okay, I haven't finished first through third yet, but I'm faster than my average speed. So I might give this a chance. Um, so these are kind of like 2 distances that I would maybe consider. 2200, also possibility, low odds, um, very close to average speed, but only 1 race. So a potential to consider. How this looks for a more developed horse. I'll do another horse of mine, Wins by the Moment, just because it has so many more races. Um, again, starting on the far right, preferred distance, we see 1200, we see 1400 and 1000, and then a pretty big drop off there. Average place, very good. Right around average, above average at 1000. Standard deviations are fairly similar, but lower. And then a win rate of 7.22 across almost 100 races. Very close to breaking even. So yeah, so like 1200, definitely something I'd be hitting. Probably, yeah, between these 3, but definitely focusing on 1200. Any questions on how I do my evaluation? And let's see if we get hot soup coming through in here without the exclamation point. So we're looking at paid 55 races. So it looks like we've got okay. All right. So again, starting right, I see we've got these 3. There's some drop off, but not as drastic as this. So 22, 24, 200 looks like a distance racer. Looking at this at 2200, I like this 43% first through third, 25% win rate across 16 races, average odds of 6. Wow. Yeah, I see some good average odds. I see faster than normal speeds in these 2. I'm liking these 3 distances for sure. John Hall, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. And then I also see, okay, looking down, again, looking at kind of average place, looking at odds, I see a lot of potential here. So we got 2 races, average odds of 5.41. Foil, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, L Foil. Win rate 50%. Okay, it's only 2 races, but wow, really good, faster than average speed, standard deviation under 1. I see potential here as well at 26. So I like distances. Not to say that there isn't anything in the other places, but this is where I would start. And kind of in overall racing strategy, I would go, your 3 races at a time, go through your preferred distances, and if you got some numbers that are close, they could change and it can evolve, especially if you have a younger or unraced horse that isn't kind of as set. Your preferred distance can change because what you think you might have success with could end up tailing off. The numbers could kind of like level off, and it could not be as successful or potentially profitable for you. Harrison Beck, thank you for the follow. So this is kind of how I would look at evaluating horses. Thoughts on Racing Reggie? Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Jacobson, thank you. Wow, lots of followers tonight. Thank you all. I really appreciate you. So based on 1600 odds, forcing a U shape. You mean 2600? Just wanted to confirm that. Is it 1600 or 2600 L-foil? Um, we got great odds at 2600. Odds aren't bad at 1600. Oh, sorry, odds are worse at 1600. I don't know about forcing a U-shape. I could say trying to help it. I don't think U-shapes can be forced necessarily. I think you could do some things to maybe aid them. Um, oh, to class down to 5 and 4, right? Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Um, so when looking at down classing, um, that could be a strategy. I've talked about that before. I've done similar things. I've with wins by the moment. I've tried a million different ways of down classing. Um, I would go more for um, so looking at the horse right now and assuming that this is potentially over a larger data set. It's hard to say with a smaller data set. But if you were to look to down class, um, I would change my race. So I think of my racing strategy in blocks of 3. So I would take my first, and again, not financial advice, but I would take one race at, okay, let me back that up. Let me back that up. If I'm looking at, first I want to look at where am I at within my class? Is there a chance over my next 2 to 3 races of me classing up? If there is, that's going to change kind of my ratio. If there's not, I just came up into a class and I'm still racing well in it, I might go a little more aggressive. So, and by that I mean I might go 3 races and think of it in terms of blocks of 3 because that's how many races you can be in at a time. I would look at just going all 2200s across the board. If there's no chance of me going up in class, I would do that. And again, given the current data set, then alternatively, if you're thinking about downclassing or you're worried about classing up, I would do maybe one race at 22 and then maybe 2 races at 24 because I see you have a very low chance at finishing 4 through 8 and in a higher chance than finishing 4 through 8, finishing 9 through 12. So in theory, that could help maximize potentially your earnings and also kind of balance out your performance without completely trashing your ROI or hurting it too bad. So instead of 1600, I think that's a little drastic. I think it could work. I think it's a little drastic. I would look at divvying up your race percentages. So I would say, hey, let's maybe do one at 22, maybe do 2 at 24. That strategy makes a little more sense when you have a larger data set, but I think can definitely work here. Circling back to chat here for a minute. Let me know if that makes sense, Elfoil. Let me know if you have any questions on that. I picked up a guy called Neutron Bomb a couple of nights ago for pretty much floor at 0.21. I thought he looked like he might be underperforming. Would love if you could take a look at him. My biggest gamble to date. I got 4 other free rollers. Trying to figure out 2. Sorry, noob to the races the last 3 weeks. Thanks for any help. Wonky Donkey. Never apologize for being a noob. Everyone is learning. I'm constantly learning. This whole ecosystem is changing. It's a process. Um, just trying to help everyone make as many educated decisions as they can. We'll get through a few more horses, then we'll go into my actual race selection strategy, which I think would be a great segue and would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I'll take a look at Neutron Bomb, so go ahead and close that out. And Neutron Bomb, awesome. Okay, so we've got kind of some middling odds, so this gets a little tougher. So once you get on the little higher end of things, it becomes a little harder. So we're getting speeds that are very average too, because you're right in that like 60 sweet spot. Um, and it looks like we've got, so these potentials, so starting right to left, we've got these 3 before a big drop off. Again, just looking at high to low. Going across, so 4th, 5th, so like this is pretty solid. Your average places aren't too bad. Comparatively, average odds would be okay. Odds aren't everything. Win rates are a little low, but you've got some first through third, so it looks like you're potentially making money, you're just not making the most money. This is a little concerning, this 68% in here. So I would consider these 3 across paid You're almost profitable here. Um, again, not financial advice. And that's tough because these numbers aren't too far off when you kind of balance it out for races themselves. Um, I would bounce around between these three, see how it plays out. Maybe starting with 2400 just because you've got a little higher than average time, but you've got a higher standard deviation. I would maybe consider that. Um, Let me know if that makes sense, Wonky Donkey. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Again, not financial advice. Elfoil says odds are still pretty decent. Class 3, just curious. People who do the strategy effectively, or would you just race naturally? I've kind of shifted my mindset a little bit. I would race naturally if you got a distance that you can perform well in and also get 9 through 12 in. Again, look at that kind of ratio and how that could help you. Um, no, I've not talked about conditional formatting to columns. That is on the roadmap prototype. Harrison Beck says, noob here. No worries, Harrison. Just started racing my horse. Sophisticated work ethic, like the name. I think I have a good one, but no idea what I'm doing really. He seems like long distances maybe, and has good odds and moved up classes. Awesome. But lately is playing bad odds in those same distances. Any advice would be great. Thanks. Long no love. Got it. And before we go to that, Harrison, let's I just want to circle back to Wonky Donkey. Seems to pull much odds better in Class 4 than Class 3. Nearly 2, I think. Was thinking maybe a candidate to try and drop Class, maybe, for better odds. Yeah, that can get downclassing and just like tanking can get very expensive. Because again, it's a chance. Because I mean, if you look at this, sure you have 4 races here, 1 race there. Um, it, Realistically over time, you're very rarely, if not at all, going to be 100% 9 through 12. So you're potentially leaving money on the table. Um, so definitely something to think about and consider. Mal, how you doing? Um, all right, so let's look at sophisticated work ethic. And we are also not doing class breakdowns here. So a big asterisk on all of this is focus on the area where you have most of your races. Now, if you have under 20-ish races, 20, 30 maybe races, maybe that might not be as big of a deal if you're not classing, but if you have a lot of races and you've got a bunch in like class 5, a bunch in class 4, handful in class 3, I would definitely use my class filter to break that up to give you kind of a better idea of performance. Um, all right, sophisticated work ethic. Let's take a look. I think I put in 2 spaces there. Boom, pulls up, great. Again, we're looking at paid right now. Okay, so 20 races, so not many races. And again, starting right to left, so I'm looking at 24 and 2. Average place is 3, average place is 2. Fantastic. You've got 1 here with a win. Average odds of 2. Wow. So 26 could be interesting. You've got a great speed there. You've got a nice speed here. You've got some good speeds. Yeah, I see potential in a few of these distances here. So 26, 20, and 24 all sound like very interesting to me. Even, wow, this right here at 22. Um, Overall, profitable horse, great horse, 30% overall win rate. This looks just absolutely fantastic. So I think you're doing a nice job. I would stick to the longer distances with this horse. Let's start at 24. This horse is so new. Preferred distance won't really be totally dialed in until a little later, but this is where I would recommend starting. Wonky Donkey says, okay. Racing Reggie, perpetual motion. Seems like 1600 is her best. Am I correct? Is she a decent horse? And, okay, just also a big thing to say is like, just because I say it and I have it and this is my tool, this doesn't mean it is the best or it is, again, set in stone. It's a very, very gray area. And just because you use this tool doesn't mean your horse is automatically going to race better. There's such an element of randomness in Zed that is just very unpredictable and hard to tell. Um, all right, so we'll do with perpetual motion. And then we'll go into kind of my race selection strategy. And I'll talk about dialing in some horses and what that looks like for me, which I think would be very relevant. And then we'll go into my actual racing strategy. And then we can circle back to more horses. So if you have them, I will definitely throw them in for you. All right. Prototype, no worries, no thanks needed. Hey, Mel, that's okay. That's okay. Grundle Smuggler. If you don't mind, Mel, we'll circle back to Grundle Smuggler in a little bit. I want to get a little further on with things, but I would love to come back to Grundle Smuggler. All right, so yeah, 1600. You've got the most races at 1600. I would consider most of these distances unraced. I would start looking at maybe 14 and 12, just because you've got lower odds. Your speed isn't too far off, but again, you need a good amount of races to really determine what your average speed is. So if you're using this tool and you see like, oh man, my speed is lower than that benchmark average speed, don't get too discouraged. It's going to take a while. I didn't hit my top speed with wins by the moment until race 100 something. And it was like 66 kilometers an hour. Winds just flew. And I think before that it was like 62 or 64. So huge jump. Don't get discouraged. It takes time to build that out. If I don't have a preferred distance here, and you can't really rely too much on standard deviation when we only have so many small races, I would look at position and odds. If you've got lowish odds, and 9 through 12, that's not a bad sign. Not a bad sign at all. Really kind of, it looks like you've raced this horse out wide, which is fantastic. So now let's start going a little deeper. 1600, stick with it. Looks great. It looks like you're going deep on that. I don't see a reason to stop on that. You're profitable. You've got great odds, a great average place. Like everything is aligning at 1600 with perpetual motion. Great percentages. You're above average. For the population, you're right about your average. Standard deviations close to 1 with an above average speed, so that's a good sign. Obviously, the faster the better. I would stick at 1600s for now. Keep going deep on that. Again, not financial advice, but for entertainment purposes only, this is what I would recommend. So, kind of shifting gears a little bit. We're going to come back to the tool in a second. But wanted to kind of, again, show you some of my horses and kind of after they've been dialed in and what that looks like. So the first one that we have here is the Red Dragon. And so we have, so this is a bred horse of mine for Wins by the Moment and Super Chic. And if we switch this over to paid, no problem, Racing Reggie. And Mel, if I forget, please, please, please remind me about Grundle Smuggler. So switching over to paid, not super great win percent. But if we look at its race history, so for me, like what it looks like dialing in a horse was like, okay, I've kind of like looking at distances, evaluating, doing some work in 1600, 2000. And then about this point, July 12th, I realized, hey, 2000 might be a great place to race my horse. And luckily, with some luck, with some skill, I got an 11th, which I like to help keep me in class. I've got a second, a third, a 12th. Excuse me, a second and a 10th. So if we look at, so overall, not profitable, but if we look at my 2000 paid, I've got a 48.33% ROI. And if we kind of switch back to the Red Dragon, and just looking at average boom 2000, preferred distance, and just keep hitting it. So yeah, so like once you kind of get a horse a little dialed in, this is what kind of going deep for me looks like. Odds are still pretty solid. Staying in class 5, like this is my dream scenario. I can't wait to race this horse more. I'm going to. One of my favorite horses to race. One of my favorite horses I own. Another one, Wins by the Moment. I didn't really Thank you for the follow, Gus Palma. If I mispronounce that, I'm sorry. Please correct me. But really, really appreciate the follow. So looking at wins, we're looking at paid right here. And if we look at kind of had a big gap, but then once I brought the horse back, and we're going to focus on this when we talk about race selection, I got a 12th and 10th, and I'm not upset about that at all. Chianti Trail, thank you, thank you, thank you. So really, really appreciate that follow. But this is a horse we're going to focus on. We talk about my new racing strategy. These are two of my newer races and kind of where I really kind of combined a bunch of things together to select the horse. Super Chic, I haven't really raced since early July, not too many updates. And the reason why is because if you look at the average odds, we're getting 19.97, 21, 19, 20, 18, 19, 18, 20. So I'm going to keep Super Chic for breeding. It made the Red Dragon, which I was super happy with, a horse I'm excited for. So I'm holding on, not necessarily racing at this time. Blue Wings, another horse I'm very excited about. I love to race. And this is one that I posted on Twitter earlier today, where basically pre-purchase. So if this is a horse I did not breed. I bought. So it had 8 races when I bought it. ROI of negative 89.41. And then since then, I've raced Blue 11 times. And if we switch that over, I now have 11 races, 18% win rate, 36 place rate, 36 show rate, and I'm positive ROI of 38.69%. And kind of what that looks like, again, was getting the horse dialed in. I knew 22,000 was something I was interested in. 16 I was kind of on. I raced it again. Didn't like what I saw. I kept going with the 2000s. This was a mistake. This was supposed to be 1800. This is where I just human error thought it was 1800. It was a 1600. Meant to be an 1800, but if we look kind of once we've started hitting the 2000s, again, dialing the horse in, a first, a fifth, a sixth, a 10th, fourth, seventh, and a second. Again, so improvements with that horse. Using what was a kind of a we were pre-ZEDalytics time here, but really kind of hitting it the 19th and the 21st. Golden Rule, not a horse I'm really racing too much. Again, early mid-20s odds, I will keep it for breeding. Pam Halpert, same thing. I want to race this horse out more. I want to race it wide, but it's getting about 20 to mid-20s odds. So I'm going to be a little more cautious with this. And then Hedy Lamar, my most recent horse, only had my Griffey. So we'll definitely be racing this out, even though it's just under 20, right around 19, 18.92 odds. So how do I select a race for my horse? So let's look at some of my more recent races. And for that, I want to go to wins by the moment. Some of my most recent races, not my best finishes, but I think were really big wins, pun intended. Chianti Trail says few things more enjoyable than grabbing from the market a horse that has not been trained properly, running it properly, and then either flipping it or keeping it in your stable. Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. It's what I did with Blue Wings. Yeah, I'm not looking to expand my stable quite yet, but it's so much fun to do, and is actually going to be. Thanks for the little chat there, Sean. Sean Versal and I will be starting a new stream on Monday doing this exact thing. So it's a 10-week, 10-episode stream where we take a horse from 0 to hero and try and optimize it, showing the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So with wins, basically I know with wins, we talked about earlier, so I'm going to start with my tool. I'm currently in class 3. Jacobson, we'll definitely be looking at horses a little later tonight. So I'm going to type in wins by the moment. So this is how I do my race selection. So I'm going to find my horse and go ahead and select it. And I'm on paid. And I'm going to drill in. I'm currently in class 3. I'm going to see how many races I have in class 3. Um, so I'm getting more class specific here. I have 64 races. Like, okay, not bad. And I see, okay, average place of 6, 1200, 1091 odds, almost profitable. Um, okay, something a little more interested in. If I had even fewer races, or if I didn't feel confident about the sample set, I would include the class above. Or if you have more races there, I just downclassed into 3. So I'm going to go with 2. So we can see a much larger data set. So I'm going to incorporate this in here as well, just as an example. So I see 1200. So I'm going to take, when I'm making a race selection, I'm going to pick my horse, put it in ZEDalytics, find a distance that I'm interested in. So right now I'm interested in 1200. I've got a 34% first through third. I've got a pretty good speed, standard deviation, like looking pretty solid. I'm going to mark down my average odds and my distance. So 1135 and 1200. So I'm now going to go to Know Your Horses. I'm going to go to Races up top here, and I'm going to go to Open. Um, and I'm going to select a length of 1200 because that's the preferred distance I want to look at. And I don't see anything in my class. If I were in class, let's say hypothetically I'm in class 4, just for the sake of this example. This is a live example. I'm going to click on this race. So I see this is an active race. It doesn't appear to be full yet. I'm going to click on this race. And I'm going to look at the average odds for the horses that are currently in this race. So I see 28, I see 15, I see 974, so that's better than me. So I'm going to count now. I've got one horse that's better than me on odds. 2 horses that are better than me on odds. Oh, I think this one is full now. This one's full now, so this will be a little different. 3 horses, 4, and this is a much lower, 5, 6. So I have 6 horses here that have better odds than me at my preferred distance. I'm going to back out of this race. I'm not going to enter this race. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board. So let's say, let's find another preferred distance just for the sake of example. Let's look at 1400s to see if there's anything available. Here's one, class 1. Again, if this were my class, I would do that. Here's a class 3 with 8 out of 12. So this is the class that I'm looking at. So this is great because when the race hasn't filled yet, you can see the average odds for the class and the distance. The average odds for the class, average odds at the distance, the win rate based on odds and distance, based on class, and based on distance alone. So this is huge for evaluating horses. So I'm going to flip back here. I'm at 1400. My average odds are 12.13. And I'm going to count again the number of horses that are better or worse than mine. So I see 1141. That's 1, 2, 3. Wow, and these are significantly lower. A lot of great horses in here. I'm going to back out of this race. So what does this look like for a successful selection? So let's look at the Cologne Classic. So this is a wins by the moment race. I finished 12th. But why I picked this race for a few reasons. One, at 1200, my average odds are 1135. In this race, where are we? There we go. In this race, I got odds of 1077. So that to me is a big plus because that's going to, if I have a lot of races, it'll obviously be smaller. But if I don't have many races, this is going to help bring down my average odds, which from a evaluation standpoint on OpenSea, on HawkU, on Nucleus, is going to make your horse a little more attractive and also help you run your race better. At the time when I was looking at this race itself, there were about 4 horses, and that's my personal cutoff point based off of no data, nothing, just my own kind of gut feeling, that had better odds than me. So if we actually count, I had 10, 7, 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 horses. Yeah, 4 horses had better odds than me. That was the case. But my odds for the distance were better. And I didn't finish 4th through 8th. So that to me is a win and a win. Even though I didn't come in the money, even though I wasn't profitable, to me that's still a successful race. Another example of this is with Blue Wings, the second place. Now, in the past, I've preached racing at cheaper races because they are theoretically less difficult. This was a race that happened to be a $5 race, I believe, instead of a $2.50 race. And I saw opportunity in it. So if we look at wins, this is a race or distance of, sorry, if we look at Blue Wings, this was in 1800. So we're going to clear wins out. Again, if I were to start from scratch, I select my horse. I look at, oh, gotta select, we're going to select all classes. 1800. So I've got 3 races already. It's up there. It's before a huge drop-off point, below 0.1. Standard deviation, a little too early to tell. I'm running faster than usual, but I'm getting really good odds. So it's like, hey, let's take a chance on 1800. So my average odds were 9. And if we go to the race itself, I actually pulled really bad odds. But in my evaluation of the race, had odds that were better. So we've got 1 horse that's better, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 horses that ended up being better. So not necessarily the best after the fact, but in evaluation, it was a better choice in selection. And that can happen. So don't get too discouraged if you like pre-race select, you're looking at all the average odds going across the board, and you see like, wow, okay, I fit within, maybe top 4, top 3 with average odds. If that changes, because there are going to be horses that could spook your horse and could completely change everything. Or it could just be not, competition could be a little stiffer. So basically, use ZEDalytics, find your distance or distances, find your average odds, use Know Your Horses, races, open, plug in your distance. If you want, you can even plug in your class. Find a distance that matches your class. Take a look at it. Take a look at the competition, and then if you are ready to enter the race, you can go right to the race on Zed by clicking Find on Zed, open it in a new tab. Race will be right here. You can enter immediately. Now, another kind of word of caution, this will update. Zed will update faster than Know Your Horses, and Know Your Horses will not automatically update, I don't think. So, hit that refresh, constantly refresh. Once this gets about like 6 to 8, that's when I'd maybe consider like, okay, how many horses have better odds than me? Do I think I could do well here? And go from there. Is this a foolproof way for success? Absolutely not. Have I seen success with this? Yes, I have. There have also been some races where, you hit that middle spot. That's going to happen. There's no set, hey, this is what you have to do to win every time or be in the top 3 every time. That just doesn't exist. That's not how Zed works. So any questions on that, hit them in chat. I'm going to circle back through chat right now, see a few things that I missed. Jacobson with an E. Let me know if you're looking for horses take. Yep, okay, cool, we hit that. Chianti Trail, already like this guy better than you, Sean versus all. Oh, ouch, sorry, don't hate on Sean. Sean's fantastic. He got the Chianti name right. Oh, okay, fair. You can hate on Sean for that. Just kidding, Sean. Shy, having lived my whole life in Chicago until 2017. Nice. Yeah, I'm currently living in Illinois. Glad you're looking forward to Monday. It's fantastic. I'm so excited for it. August Palma says, I'm new to this. You can win and lose money, right? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Just because you have a horse, you have a stable, there is never any guarantee in Zed. Zed is not black and white. Zed is gray. None of this here is financial advice. None of it is a guarantee of success. I'm just trying to provide tools and strategy to hopefully give you an edge. Nothing more. Hopefully help you make better data-driven decisions and keep it accessible for everyone. Who chooses to take in my content. No need to apologize. Your English was fantastic. Quilla, hey, how you doing? Most of the lower class races are filling up so fast right now. I don't think the leg under your horses, with the leg under your horses, that you can use that tool right now with a lot of races. Quilla, very good point. Absolutely right. It is very difficult with how fast they're filling up. Can't do it. My recommendation would be to use my tool, find your preferred distance, just try and eyeball some of the horses. What I'm looking for there, just at a high level, is I'll just click on the horse. Okay, 15% win rate with a lot of races. That may not be a good thing for me. Maybe I would back out. So if you're in a race that fills up super, super fast, and you don't have time to do the whole know your horses process, which is time consuming. Believe me, it took hours for me to get to find a race, but I think it's going to help my ROI potentially long term. I would maybe back out of this, especially if there are multiple horses that had similar kind of profiles or patterns to them. Chianti says, really tough right now at Class 4 and Class 5 to scout the competition. Races are filling too fast. Yep. Great to look at competition like this. All about every edge you can grab. Absolutely. Wonky Donkey, is that tool available online at all? So yes, so this tool right here, this is my website, mjinformatics.com/ZEDalytics. Here is the link, and then this website is Know Your Horses, and I will send the link in chat too. Cosintas, thank you for the follow. If I mispronounce any name, please tell me, and I'm so sorry if I do. Please correct me. But this is where you can look at all the open races on Know Your Horses. Aquila, no problem. Absolutely happy to. I want to help out anyone who is interested in Zed, no matter your budget, no matter what sort of commitments you can make. I want to try and have this game be accessible, and do my best to educate based off everything that I learn, that I see, that I know, the ecosystem and the platform, just to try and help everyone so we as a community can grow. So it really means a lot. Really, really thankful for the comment. So Aquila says, learning my tool, insight on how to use your tool. For example, Forged by Fire. Why do you think the tool does not like 2200 as a preferred distance? Shows that he has best average odds, second average, best average place, great win percentage, average speed. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Take a look. Forged by Fire. Yeah, any questions on kind of that whole race selection process, please let me know. All right, so why does it not like 2200? Got a good average place, great odds, win rate, pretty solid. My guess is that it doesn't not like it yet. If the preferred distance is blank, take that into consideration. So like I said, we start on the right. So when I'm starting on the right, I'm looking for drop off. So right now it likes 2000. Great average place, pretty good odds. You've got pretty solid profit there. Again, not as great as 2200. Higher win rate across similar amount of races. My guess is that you need a few more races for it to fully compute. And my guess is that once that happens, you're going to see 2200 shoot up. So again, kind of circling back, recapping. Start on the right. So put in your horse. I put on paid. Start on the right. Look for drop off. So I see, okay, there's a pretty big drop off here. Then there's another pretty big drop off here. So I would focus on 2000. And then, okay, I see some gaps here. I see not many races here. So I'm going to go back to the left. I'm going to look at place. I'm going to look at odds. I see, again, I see opportunity here. It doesn't have the preferred distance. Race it a few more times. That's going to populate through. And I think you're going to see that shoot up to the top, Aquila. Burham as Buzz. Let's take a look at that one too. My guess is it might be a similar type of situation. And the preferred distance calculation looks at like finishes across all distances, and maybe because it doesn't have that 4 through 8 factored in there, that's probably why it's showing 0. Burham as Buzz. Ooh. Sensitive. Let's see what we can get. There we go. Some weird characters in there. Yeah, my guess would be this same. Yep, same thing with 1400. Same thing with 1400. Definitely distance I would consider. Definitely distance I would keep racing. But again, start right. Look at that. Okay, I see some potential here. And then let's go left. Not many races. Okay, good odds. Boom. I would agree. Don't rule out 1400. Absolutely not. Mr. Cux, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Mr. Cux, what's the tool website? Sorry if you said it before. I'm hearing impaired. Oh, no worries. No worries. So sorry. I'll throw it in chat right here. That is the tool, Mr. Cux. It's 8 races, which is more than the other distances. Yeah, so Aquila, it's because of like the finishes and the calculation across all those distances. Does that make sense? And then we wanted to look at Grundle. Mal said Grundle Smuggler. So yeah, so it's don't completely rule those out. If the preferred distance is blank, do not rule out those distances. And I'm sure once that fills out and once that data populates, both of those distances are going to shoot up to the top, if not near the top for you. They just need a little more time to incubate, for lack of a better word. But yeah, do not rule those out. And that's why we look at it comprehensively. Absolutely. Okay, Grundle Smuggler, I believe, was the next horse that we wanted to or evaluate. Perfect. Oh, you bought it. I thought that horse sounded familiar. One second, I just want to respond to Mr. Cux quick. All right. All right. Your first horse. So exciting. So exciting. So exciting. Okay, so first thing I would look at with this horse, we're going to take off that paid filter quick. Okay, so we're at 13. So we've got some free, you've got some paid. Let's look at, go back to paid. And one sec, just want to respond to Mr. Cox quick. I've been throwing into everything just to learn. Yep. Okay. So following the idea of like racing it wide and then racing it deep. So not a bad place to start. So you're getting like 11-ish odds in paid. I see you've got, okay, so you got 2 out of your 6 there. You're about average there. I would continue to go out in your distances. I would consider 1400. But yeah, continue to go out. Try and get in um, any try and go through the race evaluation. Try and find something that's optimal around 12, 11-ish odds sub that you could get into. Yeah, try and go out on your distances and then kind of reevaluate. Right now, 1400 looks the best, but you've got most races there, and I think it's really too early to tell. So my opinion would be to go out versus going deep first, Mal. Um, but no, I think you're off to a good start. I think you're off to a good start for sure. Um, no problem, Mr. Cox. Happy to help. Um, all right, and then any other questions on the race strategy, on horse selection? Again, you can use this as a benchmarking tool. For those of you that have joined late, by clearing out the filters, I'm just still keep paid on, but you can see, okay, what is the average speed? Excuse me, what is the standard deviation? Um, what are the average odds? And then you can also filter by classes as well, with 0 being Griffey. You could also use it to evaluate horses that you may be looking at. Again, like looking at the speeds of those horses um, and performance of those horses, just kind of in a different way before purchasing, could be helpful. Um, Again, not financial advice. And then also using your horses to try and find a race selection and looking at the Red Dragon, what kind of dialing in a racer can look like. Um, Looking at just all of these 2000s that I've hit since 11 to 3, 12 to 10. Again, probably an element of luck in there, um, but um, something that could come. Nothing's guaranteed. I'm not going to guarantee any outcome for anyone, um, but yeah, I think it could definitely be helpful. Harrison Beck says, "Is there an advantage to moving up in class, or are you really wanting that U horse that stays in the lower class?" So if your horse can race in a higher class and it's still doing well, um, I say still go for it. Um, Theoretically, the lower classes, and again, if you use kind of the tool, you can look at evaluate those classes. So if we just click off that, if we look at class 5, we see average odds of 14.86 and speed of 63.2. We switch to class 1. We see average odds of 13.93 and 65.4. So the odds go down. Just kind of a sign of like, hey, it's going to be a little more difficult to perform, theoretically at least, perform well on average. On average. Does that make sense, Harrison? Um, and can you judge a horse on its place at 1400 over longer distances? Fantastic. Okay. So Mal says, can you judge a horse on its place at 1400? So if I'm understanding your question correctly, Mal, um, you are wanting to know um, the if you have a horse that runs at 1400, is it going to run similarly at a longer distance that you haven't raced in yet? The answer to that is no. It can be all over the place. My favorite example of this is a horse named Pickle Rick. Nick, how you doing, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. So Pickle Rick has 41 races, 2.44 win rate. But if we look at its odds, so it has 1600, ran 43 odds. This ran 14 odds. So you can't really tell by odds. And horses do have, from what we've been told, at 1, maybe 2, maybe more preferred distances. So don't necessarily use one to judge the other. Some horses are a little more flat going across in their odds. Not necessarily doesn't necessarily mean that their performance is flat though, but something to consider. So that's why I recommend racing wide before you race deep. Um, Doing well, Nick. Doing well. Busy, busy, busy. Repping a new shirt from Retro Racing. But busy, busy, busy. Um, if it's running a 2000, can you take its position at 1400, for example, as to how it would go into 1400? I no. I don't know. I would not be able to do that. I would not recommend trying to look at one race and comparing it to another distance and like trying to Um, I think it's the chance of it being like too off or too all over the place are a little too high. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. I really really appreciate it. Um, Looking at my horses and others to buy. Fantastic. I love that you're using it to evaluate horses to buy, and not just your current stable. Um, yeah, there's a horse I'm interested in. I know I said I wasn't looking to expand my stable, but there is one horse I have my eye on. He's a little high right now. Trying to get a hold of the buyer. Um, but I see potential in it. All right. Any other questions? Horse evaluations, strategy questions. Um, Before we kind of wrap things up for the evening, just kind of a few closing remarks. Um, and Nick, if you missed the beginning when we talked about my race strategy and you're interested in seeing that, go ahead and shoot me a DM on Twitter or message me on Discord. I'd be happy to run you through it. Also, I'll have this recording up on my Twitter um, soon, within probably the next few hours. Want to wrap things up by saying thank you to Retro Racing for the shirt that they sent me. Um, and also, starting Monday, having a stream with Sean Versal, potentially a free horse giveaway. Maybe, maybe not. Um, as well as we're doing the name of the stream is called Zero to Hero. So a lot of the things I talked about tonight, how to race a horse, how to pick a distance, how to select a horse to buy, this is exactly the kind of thing we're going to be doing on Zero to Hero. So if you like tonight's stream, if you found it valuable, you want to learn more of this content, want to kind of get inside our minds as we look forward to trying to improve this horse, um, tune in Monday, 10 p.m. Central, right around this time. And we will be taking a horse doing this exact same thing. So 10 episodes, one episode per week, Monday nights. Check it out. It will be a lot of fun. Um, Nick, yeah, please feel free to message me. What are your thoughts on the acquisition of Know Your Horses? It's great for them, but do you think it becomes a paid site soon, like Fantasy Labs who acquired them? Oh, I honestly did not know that they were acquired. Um, I know nothing about that, Aquila. Um, have you been able to display odds on Twitch? Might be a good plan. No, I'm not quite sure what your Vods on Twitch. No, I might. Oh yeah. I have. They are available, Mel. Oh my gosh, sorry, just total. I don't know, just kind of spaced out there for a second. Yes, the Vods are on Twitch, and I will be linking those, and pinning those on my Twitter account as well. I was too into Zed. I thought you meant odds and Vods. So with that being said, new stream starting Monday with Sean vs. All, horse giveaway, Zero to Hero. It's going to be super exciting. You're going to see the good, the bad, the ugly. Um, Harrison, glad you asked. So my website, mjinformatics.com/ZEDalytics, that's the tool. You actually go to the homepage. I created this for new stable owners. I've got to clean up the CSS a little bit, but basically we've got tools for research, so HawkU and a breeding color calculator, analysis, know your horses, Zed Run tools, Zoomies, Zed ranks, buying on OpenSea. This will take you directly to the collection page. News, you've got Zed Gazette. They do awesome content on breeding. Cracking the Zed Run code is Eric Wong's article or series of articles talking a lot about speed, performance, and then community. This is a Discord that I'm in frequently. This is Eric Wong's Discord. They're helping out, trying to answer as many questions as I can. So definitely check that out, Harrison Beck. Yes, it has been down. I might reach out to them to see if they need anything, if there's anything I can help with. Jacobson with an E, absolutely, absolutely fantastic guy too. Super nice guy, super smart, absolutely fantastic. Harrison, no problem. Again, please follow me on Twitter, reach out to me on Discord. Anyone can shoot me a DM anytime, even if I'm off stream. I'm more than happy to help if I have the time to do so. The guys have all been absolutely amazing tonight. And I thought if there are no other last questions that we would start. A lot of fun. It's super exciting. People get so hyped, so into it. Lots of high energy. It's a great time. And it's free betting on racehorses. So if you all join me over, we're going to do a quick rate of Sean versus all. Uh, Awesome. And here we go. Thank you all. Wonky Donkey, thank you so much for the support. Appreciate you all tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be back soon.